World of Tank Reviews, a dangerously incompetent review of the Matilda, British Tier 4 medium tank. Armour. Armour really is the selling point of this tank. It has the most armour of any Tier 4 vehicle, and it's a medium tank, not heavy. Bit odd, but never mind. For more details, see my weak spot guide. But here's the basics. Lots of armour all the way around, 75, 70, 55 on the hull, 75 all the way around the turret. It's got no real weak spots. If you're trying to shoot this tank, aim at the part of the tank that is most perpendicular to your shots to increase your chances of going through, reduce their effectiveness of the armour. So if you're looking at the front, this sort of area here. Command scuffler isn't a weak point. The gun mandlet, though it looks like it, isn't a weak point. Very nice armour indeed. Big plus for the tank. However, it's a big minus as well, because all that armour weighs you down. It's slow. Specific engine power, 6.9. You're not going anywhere in a hurry. You're certainly not going up hills in a hurry. You're not popping out from behind that rock in a hurry. You're top speed. You're not going across the map at any speed at all. It really does limit you in this tank. You can't flex. You are not fast enough to flex. It'll take you like 3 minutes to cross from one side of the map to the other. It is just too slow. Traverse is alright. Traverse of 39, and then the turret traverse of, where we got 37. Where's it gone? There we are. Hiding behind over top of the flags. 37. So you don't need to worry overly much about other tanks circling of death you. Partly because your hull armour on the rear is so thick. 55 is pretty thick for rear armour at Tier 4. Machine guns are going to go sping, sping, sping. And you can turn your turret fast enough to shoot them. So they might be able to get to their rear, but you can still shoot them. However, medium tanks might well be able to get through that 55mm of armour. They're a bit more of a problem. So try not to be on your own, and try not to let people behind you, as always. But it is a worry because you're so slow, so it takes time to turn around. But it's not so much of a worry because you've got so much armour. Guns. It's got two guns, basically. It's got the 2-pounder, and it's got the 3-inch howitzer. 2-pounder is the gun you want. Very fast rate of fire, great penetration, for the top one at any rate. Not so much damage, and 3.6 nice and accurate, and the aiming time 1.9 is quite short. It aims quickly, it's accurate, it's penetrating, it fires fast. Awesome. It's a great gun. On paper, its DPM is quite low for Tier 4s. However, in practice, with high rate of fire, means you get to take the slightest opportunity. They're just dashing between cover. You reload so fast, you get more shots at them. Your accuracy is good, and initial accuracy is good, so there's more opportunities for you to take shots. Your accuracy is good, so you hit them more often, and the penetration is great, so when you do hit them, you do your damage. You don't do much damage, but you keep on doing it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So in practice, your DPM with this gun is pretty good. The howitzer is horrible. It's a derp gun. If you fancy playing a derp gun, then you can play this derp gun, but I wouldn't recommend it. Takes you a long old time. 15. No, rate of fire 15 is quite fast for a derp gun, but it's not that derpy. Its damage isn't that great. 175, not that high at all. So you're losing the big advantage of the derp gun, which is overwhelming amount of damage isn't there. So it's not great as a derp gun. You really do want this gun. Camouflage. average camouflage for its tier. It's not particularly hard to see, and it's not particularly good at hiding. But the smart amongst you might notice, well, I put camouflage on tanks I do a nice paint job on tanks I'm going to play heavily. Well, just because it's just a little bit extra camouflage. It's worth it if you're playing. Well, I paid credits for a week's camouflage, and I played 50 odd games this weekend. Last weekend, I might play a few more. It's worth it. Cheap enough over that many battles, and I've whacked my crew with camouflage. Why would I do that? I'll explain later. View range is good. It's average for the mediums of tier 4. The lights have better view range, and it's okay. That's view range 3.5. No, that's my view range. It's been improved by my crew, improved by my vents. So it's a bit lower than that, but it's all right. Nothing to be too troubled about. Any other stats? Oh, gun depression. I didn't mention gun depression when I was talking about the guns. -10. Thank you very much. That's crest fighting material. Although you won't be ducking down and popping back up. You'll be getting to the right height and then staying there, because getting back up the hill to poke your gun over again takes so long because your engine power is so low. It takes ages to go up hills, and you fire so fast you won't have time to duck down and pop back up again. You just sit there going blam 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 blam. But be wary of artillery when you're doing that. They love people who stay stationary, and they love you anyway, because you're slow. Hit points there. Engine power we've mentioned. Concealment we mentioned. View range, signal range. Bleh. Any other stats? Not really. Equipment. What equipment would I put in this tank? Gun rammer. You've got loads of ammunition. You don't need to worry about running out, so shoot as fast as you can. Put that gun rammer in and push your DPM up. Vents. Be better at everything. More crew skills for everyone. Binocular telescopes for that passive spotting, sitting in the bush and watching what's going on, and for sniping. Helps you snipe as well. I wouldn't use coated optics because they don't bump your view range up to the maximum of 440, or was it 430? I forget. Either way, they're not enough of a bump to be useful. It's the binocular telescopes you want for this thing. Anything else you might want to consider? Gun lane dive, you don't need it. You're accurate and you aim pretty fast anyway. You don't really need that. Spool liner is a possibility. You are slow moving and artillery will like to shoot you, but tier 4 artillery generally isn't very good. They haven't really learnt what to do yet. So I haven't used it. I haven't gone for it. I've gone for the other 3 instead. But it is something to consider. If you find yourself being knackered by artillery, then yeah, medium spool liner could well be worth the money. Skills. What skills do you want on your crew in this tank? Ignore what I've got here. Well, not quite ignore, but mostly ignore. I was playing around with it, seeing what was worthwhile. My recommendation is Sixth Sense on the commander, camouflage on everyone else as their first skill. And keep your camouflage skills up. If you're thinking about, I'll rank up my camouflage and then I'll reset it for Brothers in Arms and start with it. End up with no camouflage, but with my Brothers in Arms. And why? I'll explain a bit later. Second skill, brothers in arms, probably. Just be a bit better at everything. And then third skills, then your things like smooth ride, and repairs. You might. I haven't actually found my tracks coming off that often. You are big and slow and heavily armoured, which would lead you to believe your tracks would be coming off all the time, but they haven't done that much. That's because Tier 4, most players don't know to shoot your front drive wheel, knock your tracks off, and then start shooting the rest of you. And when you're up against Tier 6s, they can penetrate you anyway, so they don't worry about shooting your tracks off. So repairs skill isn't actually all that useful. But your experiences may vary. Free XP and spending your XP, going through the research grind. I would heartily recommend free XPing this gun because its penetration, 121, with its armor piercing, is so much better than 78. It's half again as effective for penetration. It really makes this tank work. This gun is okay for dealing with Tier 4s, but this gun allows you to deal with Tier 6s. Not heavies in the front, but in the sides and everything else. Yep. Following that, I would go for tracks, then the engine, then the turret, and then finally your radios. What's this tank like compared to other Tier 4 mediums? Well, there aren't actually that many Tier 4 mediums. There's this one, which I haven't played yet, the VK2001, but it seems pretty meh, average, not a lot of armour on it. 30 mils on the turret armour. Ooh. Yeah. Oh no, there's another Tier 4. Wait there, Panzer III, there it is. That is a medium-ish tank. It's a very nice medium tank. That's a good tank for learning to play a medium in, whereas the Matilda is not because it's so slow. This is medium armor, medium gun, medium speed. Good for being a medium flanking, breakthroughs, that sort of thing. Support when the heavies go through. So it is a nice tank, comparable with the Matilda. T28 is another good medium tank. It's very big though, very fast, very manoeuvrable. Gun's not so great, and the armour's pretty poor, but it's another good tank for being a medium in. American medium tanks, the M3 Lee. That's not even a tank, it's rubbish. Matilda's way better than that. French medium, the Saal. I've done a review of that. It's alright, but I prefer the Matilda. Saal has got less armour, but a bit more speed, and not so much as good a gun. There's the Matilda. Grant. Another rubbish pile of poo. Valentine, I'm not sure about. I haven't tried that, so I couldn't say. Looks like he's got that's your gold ammunition for. It needs gold ammunition to get that 121 penetration, whereas your Matilda can do it with armor piercing, which makes the Matilda much better in my book. You're going to spend a lot of money whilst firing your gold ammunition with the Valentine. No medium tank in the Chinese line. The Chi-He is just meh, rubbish-ish. Wouldn't rate it at all, especially against Matilda. Matilda's much better, and the SD Viz 39 is meh, a meh tank. Matilda's much better. How to play this tank. This is one of the quintessential heavy armoured slow speed tanks. It's not medium in any sense of your play. When you're top tier, when you're facing tier 4s and belows, you can play like a heavy tank. You can grind forward, brawl and bully, bounce shots off your armour, and rip them apart with your gun, your fast firing gun. You still have to worry about tank destroyers can go through your armour, but everyone else is going to has a hard time, and you'll get lots of bounces, so you can bully them mercilessly. When you end up being bottom tier and you're facing tier 6 tanks, you have the quintessential problems of the heavy armoured slow moving tank. Your armour is no longer good enough to save you. It won't bounce your shots. You're not manoeuvrable. You're a sitting duck. You're so slow. You're a sitting duck. You're not manoeuvrable to evade their shots. So your only option for not suffering damage is not to be shot, which means not being seen. Which is why I recommend the Sixth Sense and Camouflage, because when you're bottom tier, and even against tier 5s, until the tier 5 heavies are gone, you can't really brawl, and even the tier 5 mediums can also have a good crack at your front. So when you're bottom and mid tier, the first thing you want to do is to passively spot and to snipe, and for that you need camouflage. You're a medium tank, your base camouflage isn't that great, but camouflage skills can make a huge difference. And with them and Sixth Sense and your binocular telescopes and your gun that is accurate, so you can hit them over a long distance away, and penetrating, so you can go through them at a long distance away, you can wear down tier 6 tanks quite happily if you can sit there and shoot at them. And to do that, you have to not be seen. You have to find a good bush, be behind it, or have enough camouflage that you're far enough away that they can't see you. And provided you're not trying to do a heavy on his front, you're getting his side, you can chew him up, knock his tracks off, so your friendly tanks can also get at him more easily. At bottom tier, you're a spotter, you're a sniper. At top tier, you're a brawler. Or if you really want to, a spotter and a sniper. And given tier 4 matches, which you're full of tier 3s and occasional tier 2s, they're very new players, they're very keen, they're always attack, attack, attack! You'll face a swarm of lights and mediums charging across the middle of the map, the ridges and stuff that's there. And so if you find it's start of the match, move into a reasonably defensive position that you can see, gives you a good view of enemy coming across the middle of the tank, middle of the map, or the edges, wherever they're going to charge, and you can just sit there and blam away and chew them up completely, and then move on to either brawling or spotting and sniping. How did I do with this tank? Very well indeed, thank you very much. 59% over 300 odd battles, and this was one of the first tanks, my early tanks, when I didn't know what was going on. I played it quite a lot then, and even so, still 59%. Pretty healthy. Thank you very much. In summary, this is an excellent tank. It is great for beginners. I would heartily recommend it as your first tier 4 tank. It doesn't teach you how to medium, but it does teach you how to slow tank, and it's powerful for its tier. So, and the gun is very easy to use. It's a delight to use, which is good if your target selection and your aiming skills aren't that great. Very good, very penetrating, so you don't even have to shoot weak spots or worry about that. You can learn all about that later. You can just use the gun, hop in the tank. Getting to tier 4 takes a couple of hours, and once you're here, you can do your campaign missions, earn yourself a big pile of cash. It's a very good tank for doing that sort of thing. So overall, it gets the Dangerously Incompetent thumbs up, unreservedly. 9 out of 10 owners would buy it again.